Imagine you were born into a family that everyone in the whole world knew about. You live in a giant, beautiful castle with guards at the gate and hundreds of rooms. You wear fancy clothes, go to the best parties, and everyone calls you your Royal Highness. It sounds like a perfect fairy tale, right? But for Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, this fairy tale has turned into a bit of a nightmare. They are the daughters of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, two people who have been in a lot of trouble with the news for a very long time. For years, people looked at these two sisters as the nice, quiet ones who didn't do anything wrong. But lately, things have changed. People are starting to ask if the sisters are just like their parents. They are being accused of acting like they are better than everyone else and hanging out with people who aren't very kind or honest. It is like a dark cloud is following them around, and no matter how hard they try to run, the cloud stays right over their heads. Today, we are going to talk about why people are so upset with this royal family, and if the two princesses can ever truly be their own people, or if they will always be stuck in the shadow of their parents' big mistakes. A long time ago, back in the year 2011, Prince Andrew sent a secret email to a man named Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a person who did very bad things and got into a lot of trouble with the law. In that email, Prince Andrew told him that they were in this together. This means he was acting like they were on the same team. He even told the man that they should keep talking to each other. People just found out about this old email, and they are very angry because they think a prince should not be friends with someone who does bad things. In the country of Britain, there are not many families that people argue about more than the House of York. This is the name for Prince Andrew and his family. For a very long time, Prince Andrew and his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, have been in the news. Sometimes they look very fancy and glamorous at big parties, but other times they are in the news because they did something embarrassing or wrong. They have spent many years going from being famous and loved to being in big trouble. Now a new storm of trouble has started. This time, the trouble is not just about the parents. People are looking at their two daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. When they were younger, people thought they were just sweet and innocent girls who represented a new start for the royal family. But now, people are saying that the girls might have inherited more than just their royal titles. They are being accused of acting like they deserve special treatment just because they are princesses. A new report says that both of the sisters have surrounded themselves with friends who are not very good people. One person said these friends are shady, which is a way of saying they might be hiding things or doing things that aren't honest. The report says the sisters seem to think they are very important, just like their parents do. This is a very big deal because it makes people question why the royal family gets so much money and power if they don't act like good role models. Prince William, who will be king one day, apparently wants his cousins to have a smaller role in the royal family. He thinks the monarchy should be slimmed down. This means he wants fewer royals to do official work and get paid for it. This is happening because the Princess of Wales, Kate, has been very sick with cancer and is getting treatment. Because she can't work right now, people are wondering if Beatrice and Eugenie should help out more, but Prince William isn't so sure. Prince Andrew used to be very popular. People thought he was the Queen's brave and handsome son. He was a hero who flew helicopters in a war a long time ago, but now he is in deep disgrace. He did a very bad interview on the news that made everyone think he was lying. Now he is not allowed to do royal work anymore. People say his reputation is radioactive. This means that being near him is like being near something dangerous that will cause a lot of trouble. The girl's mother, Sarah Ferguson, has also had a very hard life in the public eye. Sometimes the newspapers made fun of her, and she has had many times where she ran out of money. She once got caught in a trap where she tried to sell a meeting with Prince Andrew for a lot of cash. For many years, she has tried to make people like her again, but just when things seem to be going well, she gets into trouble all over again. Recently, a charity that helps sick children said they don't want to work with Sarah Ferguson anymore. This happened because of another old email she sent to that bad man, Jeffrey Epstein, in 2011. In the email, she called him a supreme friend, which means a very, very good friend. A place called Julia's House, which takes care of children who are very ill, said they will no longer be connected to her because she was being so friendly to a person who hurt others. Beatrice and Eugenie grew up in a world where they had everything. They had lots of money and lived in big houses, but they also grew up in a world where their parents were always arguing or in the news for doing something wrong. They lived in a place called Windsor and were kept away from the news, but they still knew that things were messy. Even though they looked like sweet girls to the world, people inside the palace started to worry that they were learning to be arrogant like their parents. The Daily Mail newspaper says that people who work for the royal family think the York sisters act like they are very important. They say the sisters are entitled. This is a word for people who think they should get whatever they want without working for it. They are being compared to their mom and dad, Andrew and Sarah, who also had a reputation for being a bit stuck up. People are upset because the sisters seem to be following the same bad path. One person who knows the family says that Beatrice and Eugenie don't understand what real life is like. They live in a world of very rich people and are protected by their money and their famous names. This person says they don't seem to care how their choices look to regular people who have to work hard for everything they have. They are living in a bubble where they think they can do whatever they want and no one can stop them. Just this week, the two sisters were on the cover of a magazine. The magazine called them the royal family's secret weapons. This means they were supposed to be the people who would make the family look good again. But a reporter said that this was just a cliché, which is a boring thing people say over and over. He said there are no real secrets in the royal family anymore, and calling them weapons might be a bit of an exaggeration. The magazine article also said that the sisters are friends with people who have very bad reputations. These are people who have done things that make other people worried or suspicious. This is exactly what people said about their parents for many years. It seems like the York family has a habit of trusting people who are only pretending to be nice so they can be close to royalty and get what they want. One of the most disappointing things is that it looks like Beatrice and Eugenie haven't learned from the mistakes their parents made. Instead of staying away from trouble, they are doing the same things. They defend their parents even when their parents are wrong, and they hang out with the same kinds of people. One person said they have a blind disregard for consequence. This means they act like nothing bad will ever happen to them, even if they make bad choices. Princess Beatrice works in the world of money and technology, and she also likes art. Both sisters say they have normal lives. They have jobs, they have children, and they have to pay for their houses. But people who don't like them say their version of normal is not like everyone else's. Most people don't live in palaces or have millions of dollars, so saying their lives are normal feels like a bit of a lie to most people in Britain. A reporter said that even though Princess Anne isn't as glamorous or fancy as Beatrice and Eugenie, people still like her more because she works hard and doesn't cause drama. People love the women in the royal family, but they want them to be helpful and kind. It doesn't matter how old they are or how pretty they look. What matters is if they are doing good things for the country instead of just going to fancy parties. Both of the sisters live in very expensive homes that cost millions and millions of pounds. Beatrice has a house in the countryside that was paid for with help from her husband's very rich family. Eugenie lives in a house at Kensington Palace that the king lets her use. They go on very expensive vacations and hang out with the richest people in the world. This is the kind of life that has kept the York family in the gossip papers for a long time. People who are friends with the sisters say they are actually very nice, warm, and hardworking. But people who criticize them say that being nice is not enough. They say the sisters get all the good things that come with being royal, but never have to take responsibility when they make a mistake. If a regular person did the things they did, they would be in a lot of trouble. But because they are princesses, they seem to get away with everything. The problem isn't just about what the sisters do every day. It's about what they represent to the world. They represent the bubble of royal entitlement. This means people think they live in a world where they are special and the rules don't apply to them. Even if they have jobs, they are still princesses, and that gives them a level of comfort and power that regular people will never understand in their whole lives. One of the most sensitive parts of this story is who they choose to be friends with. People say the York sisters are friends with people who have been in big trouble before. This includes people who have secret fortunes and famous people who have done bad things. Beatrice and Eugenie grew up with a mom who wrote children's books and used her imagination, but people worry that the sisters are using their imagination to pretend their friends are better than they really are. The York family has a long history of being friends with rich people who want to be close to royalty. People who defend Beatrice and Eugenie say they're just friendly and have big hearts. They say the sisters judge people by how they act, not by what the news says. But other people say this is very naive, which means they are being too trusting. They think this is the same mistake their father made, and it eventually led to his life being ruined. One insider said their group of friends is like a revolving door of people who want to be famous or powerful. This is just like what their parents did in the 1990s. Back then, their parents spent all their time at fancy dinners, flying on private jets, and hanging out with the most powerful people in the world. Some people think the sisters do this because they want to feel important and relevant, even as the royal family tries to become smaller. We know that Prince Andrew started being friends with Jeffrey Epstein in 1999. We also know that he saw him quite a lot for many years. This is the root of the problem. People want to know if being entitled is something you are born with, or if it is something you learn from your parents. Beatrice and Eugenie have spent their whole lives with royal titles that they didn't choose, but they have definitely enjoyed all the fancy things that come with those titles. Critics say the sisters think they are exceptional, which means they think they are extra special. They believe that doors will always open for them, and that eventually, people will stop being mad at them. The sad part is that it seems like the sisters can't get away from their family's bad reputation. Every time they try to do something good, like help a charity or be a good mom, people start talking about their parents' scandals and their questionable friends again. While other members of the royal family have tried to change and act more modern, the York family seems stuck in a loop. They get into a scandal, and then they try to defend themselves, and then it happens all over again. It is a cycle that never ends. Even though they try to rebrand themselves and act differently, the headlines always go back to the same old stories about their privilege and their mistakes. Not everyone is being mean to the sisters, though. Some of their friends have spoken up to say that the news is being very unfair. They say Beatrice and Eugenie have lived very normal lives, considering who their parents are. They have steady jobs, they married people they truly love, and they don't try to be in the spotlight as much as the more famous royals. They are good mothers, and they do a lot of work for charity to help other people. Many people who watch the royals think that the public is only mad at the sisters because they are mad at Prince Andrew. It is like the sisters are being punished for the sins of their father. They are being judged just because they are loyal to him. But as one person who used to work at the palace said, in the royal family, your image is everything. If people think you are part of a scandal, it doesn't matter if you are innocent. People will still think you are guilty. This whole story makes people wonder about the future of the royal family. King Charles has talked a lot about making the monarchy smaller and focusing on hard work instead of fancy parties. He wants the royals to be about doing their duty. The York family, with all their money and their trouble, is exactly what the king wants to move away from. If people are going to trust the king, he has to show that the royals are responsible for their actions. In one famous interview, someone asked Sarah Ferguson if she took money from a reporter who was pretending to be someone else. She had $40,000 in cash right in front of her. She admitted that she took it and put it in her car, but she said she gave it back as soon as she realized it was a scandal. She got very upset during the interview and told the reporter not to try and trick her. This is the kind of drama that has always followed the sisters' mom. The Yorks and their scandals are exactly what the new, smaller royal family is trying to avoid. If the king's family wants people to like them, they can't look like they have a lot of money but no responsibility. Even if Beatrice and Eugenie don't have official royal jobs, they still have their titles. If they act like they are entitled or make bad choices about their friends, it gives people a reason to be mad at the whole royal family and the king himself. Lately, more news has come out about the York family and Jeffrey Epstein. This time, new emails were found that involve both Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew. These news stories have made people even angrier. They make it look like the sisters are paying the price not just for being rich, but for the scandals that their parents left behind. The first big story is about an email that Sarah Ferguson sent to the bad man, Epstein. A newspaper said that back in 2011, Sarah sent an email to Epstein calling him a supreme friend. She even said she was sorry for saying bad things about him in public. This is a big problem because she had told everyone that she was going to stop being his friend. Her team says she only sent the email because she was scared and he was threatening her. They said he called her and was acting like a scary movie villain to make her do what he wanted. As soon as people found out about that email, things got bad for Sarah Ferguson. Many charities said they wouldn't work with her anymore. These were places she had helped for a long time, but they didn't want to be linked to her if she was friends with a bad person. This was a huge change because for a long time, people felt sorry for Sarah, but now they are losing their sympathy for her because of these secret messages. Then there's the email from Prince Andrew. In 2011, he wrote to Epstein and said, "We are in this together." This email was sent just one day after a very bad photo of Andrew was put in all the newspapers. This email makes it look like Andrew was still talking to Epstein even after he told the public that he had stopped being his friend. It makes people think that he was being sneaky and lying about who he was hanging out with. When you put all these emails together, it shows that the York family scandals are not just in the past, they are still happening now. It's not just about Prince Andrew anymore, now it's about Sarah Ferguson too. It shows a pattern of them saying one thing in public but doing something else in private. For Beatrice and Eugenie, this makes their reputation even worse because it looks like their whole family is tied to this very bad man and can't get away from him. Beatrice and Eugenie are at a very important point in their lives. They have to decide what kind of people they want to be. Their parents' generation was famous for scandals and drama. Their grandparents' generation was famous for working hard and being respectful. Now, these two women have to choose which path they will follow. In a world where everyone is watching them, one bad choice can bring back all the bad news that their parents tried to escape. The real question is, can they ever truly be free of the House of York shadow?